Welcome back. We have Sheriff's candidate Rick Marshall with us tonight, and he is answering some of our questions, some of which you have been sending in. And the question I posed before the break, the false concept that you could not pass an FBI background check was spread recently. You do, in fact, as we understand, hold a number of security clearances. And could you please explain what type of security clearances your position with the Nye County Sheriff's Office would require?
You know, throughout this campaign, there's been a number of misinformation, outright lies, things like that. I would not be in the position I was in if I could not pass an FBI security check. We have to pass them when we're hired. We have to pass them, I believe it's annually when we do our NCIC certifications. It could be every couple of years. Recently, I wrote what is known as the Buffer Zone Protection Act grant, and it was geared for protecting sensitive areas of law enforcement agencies that are around high-value targets like the Nevada test site and the Tonopah test range, to adequately address concerns in the the Buffer Zone Protection Grant. I was given access and had to pass a top security clearance at both the Nevada test site and the Tonopah test range. And I was given access to sensitive areas and shown some impressive and sensitive equipment that they have. So that false concept went around, and it died as quickly as it went around.
Okay, we just have a call-in question now, just came in. You say that you've done grant writing for millions of dollars. Now, was that grant writing done for money spent here in Pahrump, or was the money, in fact, used somewhere else?
You know, that's one of the things that I'm really proud of is I have written grants to the tune of over $22 million, and that money has saved the taxpayers a tremendous amount. And that money was spent countywide. When we write a grant, we look at targeted areas within Nye County. For example, the Tonopah station needed a new fingerprint machine and a duplexer, so we wrote a grant for it. Recently received a grant for ticket writing machines, electronic machines that allow an officer to spend less time writing a ticket and more time on directed patrols. That benefited Tonopah, Beatty, and the Pahrump area. So it depends on the needs of the individual substation, but the money was spread throughout Nye County.
Incidentally, just to give you the number to call, it's 727-8750. That's 727-8750 if you want to send in a question by telephone. And of course, there's also Facebook, Local Pahrump. What would we do without Facebook today? Not sure. Facebook question just came in. I've read an article in the Pahrump Valley Times about problems in the Sheriff's Department for over a year. How will you improve the morale and condition for the officers? How will the troublemakers be addressed? Now, that's alleged troublemakers, because you'll have to answer that.
You know, it goes again to communication. We used to have on the Sheriff's Office a lot of fun times with interacting with the Southern Area Command, the Central Area Command. We used to have company picnics. We used to have a department newsletter that told everybody what was going on, birth of children, marriages, things like that. And I think bringing those things back where everybody learns about what everybody's doing. And I think an important thing is reestablishing our management employee labor relations board, where employees can bring forth any grievances, concerns that they have, and management can explain things to them. A lot of times it's simply a misunderstanding, a little tweaking of a policy, or employee not being aware of why management is doing certain things. And I think when you bring those things together and you listen to what your employees have to say, then your morale is going to go up on the department. There's other things that you can do as well. A lot of people ask the Sheriff's Office about their employees. We can have a Employee of the Month. We can have a Get to Know Your Employee. We can open up the department and make it more accessible to the public to come talk to our employees, and for the employees to meet with the public. And I think all of those things help increase the morale and productivity of the department.
Didn't you used to have a guns and hoses ball game too that kind of...
We did. We used to play football, flag football, and we also had an annual softball game.
That always improves morale, I think. This next question is a little more pointed. It has to do with certainly morale and operation of the sheriff's office. It seems a number of your subordinate deputies have actively shown their displeasure with the sheriff's office leadership. Okay, some went as far as to participate in the Anybody But Rick campaign and have developed negative videos against you, your family, and even your undersheriff. If voters choose you to become the next sheriff, how will you mend your relationship with your deputies to build a more cohesive department?
You know, I believe it's a small number within the sheriff's office, and I've always said, I'm a candidate, I'm a fair target, I have broad shoulders. The viciousness of the videos, the outright lies, the fabrications that went on in the videos, they went way above and beyond. When they started attacking my friends, attacking my family, that's where they crossed a line. And I think that it backfired on them. I think that the public saw exactly what they are, which is lies. They photoshopped false images into people's homes that had signs in front of them. They followed people around. They filmed people. They just were vicious in their lies, their outright blatant lies. The videos that they made were taken apart piece by Dave Champion, proved to be absolute lies without question. As for mending the relationship, I have to work with them. The public expects us to run a professional organization. As I said earlier, I don't have to be on your Christmas list, but we have to work together for the betterment of the public, because that's what we are. We're public servants. And again, it goes back to communication. Having open, honest, and direct communication, and treating everybody fairly and treating everybody equally.
Some of these questions now will start with a statement, and so you have to look at the statement first and say something about that. And the next question is rather pointed. The Field Service Division has developed into a culture within the last 12 years which has not been conducive or effective as it should be, and has also led to a negative public perception. How would you change that?
You know, I'm not in charge of the Field Services Division. I have not been in charge of that. Prior to Lieutenant Mark Medina being assigned, it was overseen by Captain Bill Beck. How I would change it, it's very simple. We don't have enough supervisors. You have young men and women out there that are operating unsupervised. They're new officers on the department. They're looking for supervision. So we're going to increase the supervision. I've been in touch with some of the commissioners. I've explained this problem to them, and they're open to taking a second look at it. As I said earlier, in the last 4 years, we've lost 24 officers. 9 of them have been of the supervisory rank. So you have to have supervision. The one thing that you can do is get out, be present, show the officers that you're there, set standards of conduct that you accept from the top down, and you hold people accountable to those standards. Professionalism is where we hold it, and my administration is going to be raising the bar, not circling the wagons.
So you've lost a number of deputies, you've lost supervisors. The next question kind of leads into a budget situation. Do you plan on increasing the staff of the sheriff's office? And if so, how do you plan to stay within the budget?
The only way that the staff can be increased is through an influx of revenue. The budget is set by the Nye County Board of Commissioners. We don't set our own budget. The staffing levels are set by the commissioners through the budgetary process. The only way to increase that is to increase the budget, and we're in a declining revenue era. In the last 3 budgets that we've handled, our revenue has declined. What we can do is reorganize and move people around to put more people into the patrol areas. We can look at the scheduling of officers. Currently, they're on a 4-10 plan, 4 days on, 10 days, 10-hour shifts. We can look at 12-hour shifts. We can look at 8-hour shifts so that we can get the maximum amount of coverage for your tax dollars.
The citizens always want to have some input, of course, into the sheriff's office, how it's run, and Of course, they have a certain perception of the office. What do you feel about a police citizen advisory board?
You know, this was brought up in the last two debates that we've had, and I have always said from day one that I want the citizens involved in our business. For the last 12 years, we have involved citizens in our major use of force review boards and our shooting review boards. Those citizens have provided a very valuable insight outside of the perception of a sheriff's office employee. They're able to look at things in a different light than the sheriff's office employee would do. So they've been very valuable, and I have said I welcome a citizens advisory board. The only thing that I ask is that it not be a rubber stamp, because having a rubber stamp does nobody any good, and it's a waste of time. If you bring somebody in that constantly agrees with you and provides you with no new ideas or no input, then it's a waste of your time. I want open, honest discussion, recommendations, and review from our Citizens Advisory Board.
And now we'll go to another break and be right back.